Alright guys, I'm sorry, but I can't make this a very long video. At least I'm gonna try to. I always talk too damn much. My throat is killing me because of the... There are parts of the Bronx that's so bad right now when it comes to pollen. They're about this big. I've said it before. And I had to go doing some shopping today and my throat is killing me now. So I'm gonna try and make this as short as possible. Overall, you see the title. What's this? Good chaos. I can tell you majority of this, yes, but there's some big questions why. First, Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks for the North American Championship. Now, I kind of understand what Ricky Saints is going through when he got his throat dropped straight onto the opposite side of the chair. Whack! I'm like, shit, that looked deadly. That was beautiful. Seeing how they did pretty much what AEW had did for Shibata and for Hook, but they made it look a lot more devastating because they made sure the camera was right up in his face. I may just use that as my thumbnail, I don't know yet. But it was right up in your face and you could see how Ethan dropped straight onto that bitch and it was so bad. But that means it was done very good. And seeing that Ricky made it as best as he could, and in the end, guess what you get? You now get a Ethan Page winning. Now, let's make it very clear. Later in the night, you can see they wanted to do some extra with Ethan before World's End. Was it World's End? No, Worlds Collide. I'm sorry, not World's End. Worlds Collide. Between AAA, which is not AAA anymore, and NXT. And pretty much they wanted to set that up. Because it was obvious they wanted to set something up. I wasn't too surprised seeing a Devon Evans because they have history. And Devon Evans has been defined because of his feud with Ethan Page, which makes perfect sense. He wants that North American title. But being the one to deliver the message that not only he is going to be going after the North American title, which Ethan said, you don't deserve it. You need to wear a mask even if you're not a damn luchador because you ugly. You're going to have Dorado Kid. And you're going to have Pentagon Jr. No, not Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Jr.'s brother. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Jr.'s brother, Ray Phoenix, do a match at Worlds Collide with Dorado Kid from TNA and Devon Evans along with Ethan Page. Now, this is good to see, but then it's not really that surprising because if you're... Look, I've seen Dorado Kid for years. And I always thought, when he was working with Angel Garza, that they should have been tag champs, and they never were. And I've always said after Garza left and went to NXT and then to the main roster, Dorado Kid deserved to be X Division champion, but the only thing they ever gave him was Digital Media Championship, which was garbage. It's garbage. So seeing that he's given the spot on the first show that they're putting on like this, it's good. But then it's like, what does it really good for? What do we really get for TNA? I don't know yet. I don't know. Will we start seeing people from AAA end up on TNA as well because of the acquiring of AAA? Will we also see a couple of AAA stars on TNA? That's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be great because pretty much, and you don't want to admit it, many of you, AAA right now does not exist. It is debunked. It is gone. It has been bought out by WWE, which is owned by Silver Lake. I'm not even calling Endeavor anymore. It's Silver Lake. Silver Lake owns WWE. And pretty much, AAA is lower, because this is NXT, AAA is here. NXT is here. No, sorry. NXT is here. TNA is here. AAA is here. It don't make no difference if you think the AAA stars are better than the ones on TNA. Makes no difference. This is the company that owns it, WWE. This is the developmental. This is the collaboration. And basically, this is AAA. It ain't here with TNA. It here. It don't mean shit. It is only in name only. It has no prestige anymore, no glamour, no nothing. It is not meant to disrespect the people who work in there, who run it, and bust their ass putting on great shows. They mean nothing now because they've been acquired by another company, so they mean shit. So when it comes down to it, this is lower than TNA. You get my point. Let's move on. Ricky lost. You already know. Now worlds collide. You're going to see Ethan Page with Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, and Devon Evans. Next. Excuse me. Santana versus Tavion Heights. The first match for Santana, for Mike Santana to be on any roster of WWE. It doesn't make a difference. I know Santana enough that he's going, I'm finally here. The same company, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and any other person, I'm here. Even if it's just for a match and to do a promo, I'm here, baby. That is what I know Santana's doing. Did a good match. It wasn't perfect. Santana did mess up a little bit. But I think it might be due to the fact that maybe a little bit nerves. Because I know Santana, yeah, he can botch. No lies about him botching. But you saw, if you looked at him going into that NXT ring, and everybody saw him, he might have just been a little bit excited, a little nervous. And I think that's the reason why certain things just look like it was nerves more than it was just about just being a little messy or making a mistake. Now, after that, excuse me, excuse me. Throat's killing me. I've taken my medicine. Don't worry. I have taken my medicine. I've taken extra of my medicine to try and take care of this problem. But it hurts. But when you see him talk to Trick Williams, who, I'm talking about him right now. When you see the new TNA champion, Trick Williams, come out. Trick Willie all decked out in platform shoes. Because he's actually shorter than Santana, I think. He come out. He looking slick. He's saying, now let's talk about it. I am now a new TNA champion. I'm better than Kurt Angle. I'm better than Samoa Joe. He doesn't say Samoa Joe, but he's saying everybody. He's saying Kurt Angle. He's saying a AJ Styles and everybody that he felt was important. But he makes it very clear that now I'm going to change out TNA. I'm going to make it Tricky NA. Really? Tricky NA? That don't match. That sucked. I'm not going to lie. I love Trick Williams. I knew Trick could make it. I knew Trick would get over. I said he would, and he did. When no one else that I've heard online was saying anything much about Trick Williams, when they said he really isn't, he may look good, but he just doesn't have it. And I said, he just needs to show what he can do in the ring, because he already had everything else. He's where he is. And I'm not going to lie, that little Trick NA sucked. But when Santana came out and he made it very clear, I am not going to be like everybody else. I am pretty much a New Yorker. Well, he's saying Boricua from New York. I'm going to be honest here. I'm half Puerto Rican. I didn't grow up with it. So I don't really have that feeling of Puerto Rico like many people do. I grew up in a black family. So that's not something that's a part of my DNA in that respect. But he is a New Yorker. Yeah, he leans heavily on being Puerto Rican, which there ain't no disrespect about it. I'm just not someone who grew up much with it. But understand it. I've grown up with Puerto Ricans all my life. And I know that means a lot to them. And for me, that's another New Yorker, baby. He's from the Bronx, even though I was born in Manhattan. I basically moved into the Bronx. I've lived my life in New York, just like this boy did. And seeing another New Yorker proving the old Frank Sinatra song, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, baby. If you make it here in New York, you can make it anywhere, no matter how hard it is. Just shows it. And now, at Worlds Collide, we're not getting it. On TNA's Slammiversary, we're not getting it. On any show like Against All Odds, we're not getting it. Next week, Mike Santana versus Trick Williams on NXT TV. Why? Unless they're going to make it that Santana doesn't win because of some type of interference or cheating, that would be the only reason that I would understand. But doing it now instead of setting this up for Against All Odds, or hell, building it into fucking Slammiversary is 100% stupid, because this is about this. Because I'm sure WWE must have talked to NXT, and as you know, Carlos, what is the guy's name? Carlos Silva was at Battleground, was there. They must have said, look, this is what we want to do. We want to set this up briefly with Trick, and we want your best that you're setting up to job for him on NXT TV. And I'm like, that's the thought I'm getting in my head. And this is bullshit. You could set this for Against All Odds, or you could set this up for fucking Slammiversary. This is dumb. I don't agree with it. This should be something special for Santana, and they're going to do this to set up somebody else. And I know you're going to say, well, dude, why not set this up so Santana gets cheated out of his win and he could try again? The first time sometimes is more important than the second or the third, even if the booking is going to be good for the second or the third try. Sometimes in this situation, where someone is really hot, you don't fuck them over. I don't agree with this. This is wrong. Unless someone from the outside screws this, or Santana really gets screwed in the end, I don't find this right. Moving on. Now, let's talk about the match I really didn't care that much about. Tatum Paxley versus a Miss Parker. Now, this is more about Tatum Paxley losing everyone like GT Golan, and pretty much Thea Hale is not really her friend like Gigi Golan was, because she's already lost everyone else. And this is the match where it's about her finally losing in the ring. And when it was all over and she's suffering, you see Zarya and Soruka come to her and say, look, we know you're going through it. We understand it better than anybody, basically, because they're saying they're both misfits like her. You want someone to talk to? We're here. And in the back, you see the culling, which makes sense. They want to add another person to the fold. So now this is going to be a story about Soruka and Zarya trying to save Tatum from possibly being taken by the culling. This is where, and I say it again, you see booking for someone compared to booking for others who have no booking, for character, for development of the character. Because look at Zarya. She's working with Soul. Now, does it work perfectly? No. But you did see them building a story between Soul and Zarya, showing they wanted to become friends and they had to struggle with it. Now it's going to be Tatum's turn, if they go there. Moving on. Almost forgot how Tatum lost the match. You got Miss Parker throwing that doll into the ring and basically using that thick leg of hers to the face. Let's move on. All right. Jaster. Let me give it to you like this. Dante Chan, he don't mean anything. Not that I don't like him, but they've not done much with him. But Jastra Troy, who comes from LFG, looks good. Didn't really watch LFG. There's too many shows to watch. There's no way I'm going to be watching LFG along with Speed, along with Evolve, along with Stephanie's Place. And now you're going to have another show that's coming out that is from, again, what is it? What was it? I don't remember the name that Cody Rhodes called his podcast when he was doing it earlier when he was drinking. Now you're gonna have another podcast, but renamed the way it was. But there's too many shows. I can't keep up with them all, and I'm not gonna try. I don't want to burn myself out from pro wrestling just because I'm supposed to keep an eye on everything. Not gonna happen. Of course, he won. Troy won, and because he attacked Uber Femi last week, Uber Femi shows up and he says, you know what, I hope you enjoy your 5 seconds of fame. Well, 5 minutes more than 5 seconds. You now have my attention, I'm going to take you out. That's what he said, pretty much. Cool, no problem with that. Now, let me give it to you like this. When it comes to Miles Bourne, briefly saying, excuse me, Miles Bourne trying to get out of the No Quarter Catch crew by having a match with Dempsey. It's supposed to be multiple rounds. I don't know how many rounds, 2 or 3. I can understand why they're doing it. They want to see if Miles Bourne can actually go off on his own and if people will be interested. The question's going to be, will it work? I don't know. But you guys tell me below. Let me see, am I forgetting anything else? If I am, I'm sorry. I'm probably forgetting something. But let's get to the end, like, chaos. Was it good? JC James versus Stephanie Vakir, who has no character. Yes, she has her reputation outside the company. You've seen her go to Chile, give her dad a copy of her championship. But does that mean she has character? No. And I've said this for months. Like with Julia, there's been no character. They just use a reputation as their character. And if you don't give them more on top of it, like Azaria, who worked with Soruka, and you can see the aggressiveness and the sheer brutality of Zarya, but she also can show character when she's working with Soruka. When it came to them, I saw nothing. For months, nothing. And then seeing them each win a championship, and then one of them keeping both, which is Stephanie Vakir, which made no damn sense. It didn't make a difference that Julia was hurt. You could have done a tournament. And now, you finally show JC James and Fallon Henley fighting one another where you think they're going to break them up and then maybe one of them going to the main roster. But then you see, between the two, they're arguing so much. You see Jasmine Nix coming back. And you see, simply put, JC smacking Stephanie in the face, now getting this match. A good match, not saying it was bad, it was good. But in the end, you think they're going to be fighting again, between Fallon Henley and JC James. But in the end, you decide to give Fallon Henley the ability to try and save her friend, Jasmine Nix, to help save her friend, and then that friend and a JC James on a random NXT, which, yes, had the TNA champion, who is Trick Williams. Yes, you have now a new champion in a Ethan Page. But on this show, which people didn't look angry. Yes, they looked shocked, but they're shocked like, why? More than, what the fuck? JC James is now NXT champion. And I'm like, what did I just witness? Is this good chaos? It's very random. And that's what a lot of people want to see in their company. But is this the right random? Maybe I should say this as a title instead of like chaos. Was it good? Maybe is this the right random chaos? Maybe that might be the better way. I don't know. I understand Trick Williams. I understand Ethan Page. I understand what's going on with Miles Bourne. I understand even when it comes to Tatum Paxley. But this ending makes no sense. Why? You would think they would keep Stephanie with the title so when she goes to Worlds Collide, because she's going to have a match at Worlds Collide. It's going to happen. But you would think to keep the title on her. But she's now dropped it. And now JC James has it for Fatal Influence. And they even started talking a little bit of Toxic Attraction with a little bit of Mandy Rose's old faction. And I'm like, I don't know if this was good. I don't know. But it's just me. You guys tell me below what you think. Peace.